Welcome. Here is Ms. Judith explaining the watercolor setup. I'm just going to sort of scroll through this. I'm going to be explaining everything that you see here and what I'm doing with it and how I'm setting it up. This is how I set up the kids for a watercolor session. Okay, the first item of business is the board. I just did a video on how to tape the paper to the board. This has the watercolor paper taped to it. This is a piece of masonite board. It's 11 by 14. And you can see it's not at an angle, it's not sitting flat on the table. I have purchased from Dollarama one of these pencil holders. And I put this here at the top and I place the board on it when I'm painting. When I have the kids paint, they usually paint at an angle. That's actually important because when we put water on the paper, we need it to flow down a little bit. And so the angle is important. If the angle is too high, the paint runs off nasty and makes little rivers, and don't do that. And if it's too low, it makes like little lakes, and that's nasty too. I don't want to do that. Just about 15 degrees. This is about 3 inches or so. I was thinking that also an old box of saran wrap, you know, like those old sorts of boxes, that would also work. You want something that's fairly robust, like that seems to be fine, you know. If the box was really floppy, if you did decide to use a box on the back, that might, if it was falling apart, it would, you know, not give them some sturdiness here. Okay, so that is actually important. When I am having the kids work with watercolors, this is the set of watercolors that I like to use. You can get them at different price points. I've seen them double the price on some places and half the price on others. I buy a lot of my supplies from Curry's, and I find them to have excellent prices. So this is the type, it's the Prang Oval, and I always use the 16 colors. Oh, it's so much fun. This is the brush that I have the kids use. This is also from Curry's. I've had a lot of success with these brushes. They hold up, they're synthetic, they're student grade, but they work. That's good, I like it. This is a round 12, the size is 12, and it's, I believe, the Curry's 2600 series. I'll have the link in an email that I'm sending to you, or perhaps on the on YouTube. We'll see if I can manage to figure that out. One of the things I love about these paints is the paint comes with a palette. This here is where the kids mix their colors. That's why they can't actually share a paint set, because every kid needs to do their mixing, and this is where they mix. Okay. So when I'm setting up a watercolor setup, I have my paper, I have it on an angle, I have it nicely taped, I have the paint with the palette closest to the paper, and this will go on the dominant hand of the painter. So most kids are right-handed, of course, so I've got this set up to show a right-handed setup. However, I'm left-handed. I don't know if you noticed that when I was doing the demo last with the watercolor taping, but when I set myself up, I do it like this. I put the palette closest to the paper and I put the paints on this side. That's how I paint. When I have the kids in my class, I have the right-handed kids. What I'm trying to do is, my finger there, I'm holding the phone. I want the kids to have easy access with their dominant hand to the paint, to the palette, to the water, and to the paper. That's convenient if you're right-handed. This would be very inconvenient if you're left-handed. Do it on the other side for those kids, okay? We need to, and I always tell the kids, you need to look at the way you get yourself set up so that you can set yourself up to work effectively and successfully. Okay, a little word about the water container. I put it up here. It's accessible. I have a piece of paper towel right beside the water scrunched up so that I can take my brush and dip it in the water. I like to have one with a corner. I can take the excess water off. When I'm using these containers, I don't fill them right up. I've had too many water disasters. Sometimes less than half, depending on, you know, expect how many disasters you can expect. I find that I can be the most disastrous person in the room, so I just try to be careful with that. Okay, so that's how I set it up. These brushes here, I got them, oops, these brushes right here, I got them at Dollarama. I got 5 of them for $2, and I thought they looked really nice. They have, I did sort of pull them out. They seem to, I like the look, like the tip, they have a nice feel. The ferrule seems to be fairly not going to fall off. Not all Dollarama brushes are that nice, so you just have to take your chances. I don't know how they're going to stand up, but it's a $2 risk, so I'm going with it. This was the package that I got them in. Let's see if I can show it to you. Well, I guess that will be okay. I don't know from one place to the next, from one Dollarama to the next, what sort of supply you're going to be finding. But this is this is how I set up the kids for a watercolor setup for the kids. I have the paper towel scrunched up beside the water. I also encourage them to hold a scrunched up paper towel in their non-dominant hand, and they paint with their dominant hand. So whichever way that works for your child, that's how I work it at any rate. Okay, now I'm not trying to scare anybody off, but I think that because we're working towards having some more complex supplies in my lessons, I'm giving you, I'm trying to simplify it and let you know what I'm doing. The kids are going to need some support with this. I think that once you walk them through it a couple of times, they should be able to get themselves set up. Okay, now the other item of business with all this stuff is I need the kids to be able to put their stuff away somewhere and get it out easily, because they may not have a designated art desk. Okay. Oh, one other item of business, depending on what sort of desk they're working on, or surface or table, I don't know. You can see that this particular desk is pretty old, and I am not too concerned about the surface of the desk getting wet or paint on it, obviously. However, I don't know what sort of surface your children are going to be working on, and if you are concerned about damaging that surface, you may consider putting a plastic paper cloth down before you set the stuff up. So that's just another thing to consider. The other thing is, when you are storing brushes, I'm going to do a brush washing demonstration shortly, but the brushes, the bristles can get damaged, especially if they're wet and they're stored with the bristles down. Never do that. Oh my goodness. You will bring out a brush the next time you go to use them with deformed bristles that will never go back. And we don't need to wreck our beautiful stuff like that. The bristles always go up, always. Okay? So what I am going to do is to encourage the kids to have convenience of using their stuff. You have to put it away in a special spot, and your stuff needs to have a home, and it always goes back into the same spot so that it won't be lost. So the next time you have a class, you'll know where your stuff is. And the next time you want to use your stuff, you know where it is. So organizational skills are pretty, the foundational skills for developing art skills, because you got to get your stuff, keep your stuff nice, put it away, get it back out, and have it not too hard to do that. So I've been managing that for the kids, of course, in my class, but seeing as the kids are at home now, and they're going to have to manage their own stuff. So we all need for them to be a little bit aware of how to manage their stuff. Beautiful gift of all this beautiful art stuff needs to be respected and appreciated. So I need a container. I got this at Dollarama, but not that I'm advocating anybody eat these. I can't eat stuff like this, but at any rate, it was $2.50 for this container. I would pay $2.50 just for the container. I was going to recycle the chips, but my mom grabbed them, put them in a baggie, and she likes them, so that's fine. So this actually is a fabulous little container for my brushes. It even has a little lid, so I can take the lid off. And when I put my brushes in my container, I always put them with the ends down. And now you can see, I don't know if you can see them in there. There they are. At least they're kind of okay. Let's see if they're leaning too much, because this is a pretty high. I think that they should be okay. Depending on the how you feel. What I was doing previously, I was when I was storing the brushes, is I was actually putting them back into this container and putting this container in here, so that I don't have to worry about them bristles being deformed as they lean up against the wall. So this is better than bristle down, but there will be the bristles are leaning against the side of the container. So that I'd have to play that out and figure out how I'm liking that moving forward. Okay. But I'm maybe a little bit crazy about stuff like that. Okay. So I know that I'm not going to try to put these back in here right now, because I'm hanging on to the phone with my other hand. There we go. Brushes are put away. Now, what I'm going to do is I am advocating that the kids consider getting some sort of art bag for your kid. I got this one at Dollarama. It's a nice little bag. It was $4. But I think that even like a reusable grocery bag would be fine. Oh, yeah. What? Oh, yeah. Here we go. I don't know what happened there. I touched something hanging onto the phone. At any rate, I got a bag. I am going to put all my stuff in the bag. Usually what I do is I put the board at the back. I will put, I'll put all the art stuff that I use in the bag. There's the paper, and yeah, when this has been used, there's going to be water. These need to dry out before they go away. Don't let them put these wet into the bag. That will be, yeah, don't do that. You have paint all over the bottom and then all the colors will mix. Oh yeah, don't do that. But I have not put any water in this. This is dry. Okay, I will discuss that with the kids. So I can, when this is dry, and this has to be washed out too. Shut it, and it's dry. Only when it's dry, it can go in here. And the water needs to be dumped out, of course, and wiped out. And when this is dry, it can go in here. At least I got this thing here. This can go in here. If the kids have a pencil case with their color pencils, that can go in there. I don't have to worry about not being able to find that. I got my tape that can go in there. Tuck my brushes in there. The tape. I'll find another place for the tape. There we go. And yep, scissors go in there. Okay, wow. So now I have a fabulous art bag, which will go somewhere and always go in the same spot, so that kids know that I get my stuff out, I use it, I take good care of it, and I put it back in the bag, and I put that bag somewhere where I always know where it is. Okay, that's the deal. I will discuss that with the kids, and hopefully we'll get this all sorted out so that they can do some watercolors. Thank you for listening, and I'm looking forward to giving this a shot with the kids. Let them do some watercolors at home. Okay, thanks. Bye now.